Hey everyone, it's Sandy Peckinpah, and I am so glad you're joining me. I am here on this Tuesday night, just before Thanksgiving, wondering if anybody is able to come to my scope tonight, but I'm just still glowing from what we shared last night. I think all of you who joined me on the live broadcast and on the replay, oh my gosh, we had, Ask Workshop Girl, yay! Chris, thank you for joining me. And, yay, Kimberly's on. And I think Cynthia's going to be here any second too. So, yes, thank you. Hi, thank you for joining me. I was just wondering, and thank you for inviting your followers, Chris. That's awesome. I was just wondering if anybody was going to be joining me, because I'm sure so many, and oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate it, Kimberly, for inviting your followers too. I just loved last night's broadcast, and so I want to turn this around. First of all, I just want to say that I'm Sandy Peckinpah, and I scope about using your life story as the backdrop for the greatest life you can ever imagine. And yes, Cynthia's in the house, yay! I'm going to turn around. There we are. Can you see me? There. Okay. Yay, all of my favorite people are here. So thank you, except Liberty's not here. I think she had an appointment. But I was just saying I'm glowing from last night's broadcast because I got so much feedback from you. What I love is interacting with you because I'm a storyteller and because you're all storytellers. Everybody's a storyteller. You all tell stories about your life, whether you write them down or not. And so the wonderful part about interacting with all of you on this broadcast is the fact that I get to hear your stories and appreciate who you are and hear your life stories, which make me look at life a little differently and have a different perspective. And so tonight, I wanted to talk about setting your story free and start writing. And I know some of you on here already are writers, Cynthia, and it's so exciting for me to see as your writing continues. And I love when you share it with me too, because that's it all begins just with paragraphs, sentences, one word that you're sharing. And so if I can inspire you to write, guess what? You inspire me to write. And Cynthia, I'll always remember the one that you wrote about my girlfriend and I, Melissa. And that just meant the world to me, being able to see my relationship with my best friend in a different light and how it affected you. So anyway, I am grateful for that. I will always remember that. So anyway, tonight I'm talking about setting your story free, whether you're a writer, a speaker, a connector, a coach, a spiritual leader, a mother sharing stories with her child. Wow, thank you, Cynthia. Life-changing for me too. And so it's important that we know our story because guess what? It shapes who we are in the world. And our story is our legacy. It is who we are and what we're leaving the world with on this planet. I have some things I'm really proud that I'm leaving. And one of them is this book, How to Survive the Worst That Can Happen, the story I wrote for my son, my other two books, the story I wrote for my daughter, Rosie the Imperfect Angel, my other book, Chester the Imperfect All-Star, all books that I am so proud of. And it all started with just an idea and a fantasy that just kept going around and around in my head. I want to write. And as I've shared with you, I worked with my husband so closely on all of his scripts, but in the back of my mind, I kept wanting to be the writer myself, but I was too afraid to put myself out there until 1989 when my daughter was born. Excuse me. When my daughter was born, and I knew that my story could no longer stay inside of me because I had to share it. I had to share it to give her a place in the world that I felt good about. And so I wrote my first book, Rosie the Imperfect Angel. And so what I want to share with you, and I won't make this, last night was 45 minutes. I mean, my goodness, I won't keep you that long, I promise. So thank you for the hearts too. I am way over 10,000. I am so thrilled because when I started Periscope, I thought, oh, I wonder how long it'll take to get to 1,000. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you thought it was fantastic. It was your interaction that made it fantastic. All of you that interact with me they just make me so happy with what I'm doing here on Periscope. And what a fantastic medium. And so again, set your story free. On Periscope, you don't have to be a writer to appreciate this medium and sharing your story. So let me just look at my notes because I have so much I want to share with you. First of all, if you have a thought over and over again, do you acknowledge it? I mean, is there something going around in your head, a wish, a dream, just like my wish to actually be a writer on something that I created instead of co-working with my husband or co-writing with him? I always wanted to have my own piece of work that I could stand with and say, I did this. Is there something in your life, like maybe speaking, something, okay, all the time? Yes. Kimberly, if that's calling you, and Chris, if that's calling you, yes, years in the making. And I'm saying compress the timeline, because now is the opportunity that we have tools like Periscope, and we have tools like the internet and the amazing things we can do on the internet that can compress a dream into reality in a quicker time than you ever imagined. And so, yes, yep, and today I had huge validation for seizing it. What? Can you share it? I would love to hear it. If you have a second, share how you felt, at least how you felt. Yay. Huge validation, you know. We all need validation that we're heading in the right direction. The hearts that you're giving me are validation that I'm giving you something valuable, something of meaning and purpose. And so, again, ask yourself, why am I feeling this calling? Does it feel like a pull in your life? If so, are you able to commit to it now and possibly collapse the timeline and make it happen faster? I mean, if you are, think about this. Next year is not going to be the same as this year. Next year has a whole new set of opportunities for you. And if you get to next year and you haven't followed that thought in your head, you're still going to be having that thought and wishing that you had started doing something. That's today. Collapse the timelines. Yay! Yes, yes, yes. I am so glad to hear that. So this is the perfect broadcast for you. So that's step one. Ask yourself, why is that thing in your head going off saying, I wish I could write, I wish I could speak, I wish I could share my story, I wish I could plant a garden and share it with people, I wish that I could do art, I wish I could do photography. What are all those things inside of you that are speaking to you? They're there for a reason. They're there because you have the talent to do it. And I'm not kidding. Everybody has the talent to do what they dream of doing. You know, it may be in different forms. You know, for example, if someone is, 5 feet, I'd better been writing too long to have nothing finished. Yes. And now you get to finish it because you've spoken the truth and you've put it out there, and now you get to finish it. So, for instance, if you had this dream to play basketball and you're 5 feet tall, chances are you can play basketball for fun, but chances are you're not going to be, on a big team in, national basketball, whatever. But you can do it in so many ways. And for example, my son Garrett, who passed away at 16, his dream was to be something in sports. Now, he was always very good in baseball. He was a very good pitcher and also very good catcher. And his dream was to do something in sports. And he realized that playing wasn't what was calling him. What was calling him was the ability to write about it. And so at his school, he started the sports newspaper. Now, he died at 16, but I have a hunch, had he lived, that he would be a sports writer, because that was really his gift. That was his gift in that avenue of his dream of being involved in sports. Oh, thank you for the hearts. That's a beautiful color. That's a periwinkle blue and amber. Those are beautiful together. Thank you. So, step 2, what steps do you have to take to achieve this dream and collapse the timeline? Well, Cynthia, obviously you figured it out today. Maybe it's taking a workshop. Maybe it's setting time strategies. Maybe it's support from your spouse. Maybe it's training or getting a coach or joining a challenge like the writing challenge that I'm going to be doing in December. Maybe it's sharing your dream and having someone hold you accountable. There are so many ways that you can collapse the timeline, and the biggest one is committing to doing it. So step 1, ask yourself, why am I feeling this? And does it feel like a pull? And if so, are you willing to commit to making it happen? Step 2, what steps do you believe you have to take to achieve this dream? Step 3, identify what's at stake. Now, let me just pull this up because I want to, and being open to chance opportunity. Yes, because as much as we think that we are structured in our life, yes, challenge. I need to commit even when I'm tired. Yes, because as much as we believe that, oops, I lost my train of thought. Cynthia, you had such a great thought. Can you put that up again? Challenge is important because challenging yourself is a motivating factor. It's just like fear. When I talked about fear yesterday, that's a motivating factor in success. Because if you want something, being open to chance opportunity, yes, chance opportunity and challenge. That is so true. So challenge yourself and be open to something different happening. And so an opportunity that might happen. So when you identify what's at stake, and I mean commitment means having a change of heart. It's no longer wishing, it's doing. And it means making a commitment of time, making a commitment of space. It means all of those things. And that leads to step 4, because are there things that you need to implement in your life or say goodbye to in order to begin the transformation? And making a huge commitment is the best thing that you can do to making your dream happen. And that might mean some sacrifice in other areas. And so, for example, when I decided to commit to writing, to really being a pro at writing, and I hope all of you had a chance to maybe even look up on Amazon Stephen Pressfield's book, I've pretty much said goodbye to TV. See, that is so awesome, Chris, because that is exactly what I did. So, and this book helped me, The War of Art. It's a fantastic book, and it talks about resistance and just sitting down and doing it. And yes, that's what I had to do. So from 4 to 8, I committed to writing every single day. That was 4 hours every single day when I was writing my book. And I wrote it so fast, I can't believe it. And again, I want to remind you of something that I said in an earlier scope. When you're writing, let it flow. Let it happen. Because the next day you can do the editing. But if you try and do writing and editing in the same session, oftentimes your brain gets confused and your contribution gets muddled. because your critical brain is different than your creative brain. It uses two different parts of your brain. So it's important, and wow, somebody agrees with that because I'm getting all these hearts, and oh, it matches my top too. And so, let it flow, but commit to that time. Inner editors can paralyze you. Absolutely. It's done it to me many times, and that voice in my head goes off, this isn't any good, I don't know what I'm doing, no one's going to read this, no one's going to get anything from this. And isn't that what we want? We want to put value out there. We want to put something out there that means something, that gives you that feeling that somehow you're making a difference in somebody else's life. And so, just implement those things, like you said, implement getting rid of TV for a couple hours a day, and your transformation will begin. Step 5, write down 5 to 7 specific goals, and give these goals a due date. I had goals of when I wanted my first draft to be done. I had goals about even chapters, about when I wanted them to be written. And so I wrote my book so fast because I saw an expiration date. I saw a due date. And that due date helped keep me on track. So if you give yourself the goal of, like I gave myself the goal of Periscope. I decided that I was going to do Periscope until it became a habit. And I've now done it. I've done 22 or 23 Periscopes. And so now it's something that first terrified me, and now I get so excited. I can hardly wait to do it. And every day I'm like falling asleep with ideas, and I keep a pad by my bed. And now you're rocking it. Yay! Thank you. I hope so. That was nice validation. Thank you. I'm going to take that. That feels good. So, and then number 6, here's the fun part. Okay, so really this is, I do have the gift of gab. Well, you know what? I don't know if you were on when I shared that I was on the radio for 3 years in Northern California on AM talk radio, and you should use Catch Me. Oh, I do. Actually, I do. Thank you for suggesting that, because now I can say that if anybody's missed any of my scopes, you can go to catch.me, and you just put the website up there, and thank you for sharing that, because I do save them all. And someday I'll do something else with them. I think I'm going to put them on my website, because especially since they all have to do with writing, and I think you could benefit, well, most of them have to do with writing. But you know what? It is whatever it is. Writing is my avenue. Photography may be somebody else's avenue. What I'm really talking about is passion. Passion for what you do, and passion for what you should be doing, because you love it so much that your heart won't let it alone. That's what I'm talking about. And so, yes, thank you. Thank you, because you inspire me to do it. And so here's the fun part. This is step 6 tonight. I'm going to read it to you. Take a few minutes and visualize your life as it will be after you become the woman you desire. And that means awakening and fulfilling your passion, that calling in you, your legacy, your gift to the world, what others say about you that is so special. And I hope that if you just close your eyes before you go to bed tonight, this is my assignment, and visualize how you're going to feel a week from now when you've got a completed first chapter, or a blog, or a portfolio of photography, or a new piece of art, or a garden, or something that you've created in your kitchen. You know you're going to feel so good that you did it. And thank you for those hearts, because that's for all of you. That's how good you're going to feel knowing that you did it. You know what? I shared before I did my first Periscope, it took me 4 hours to push that start broadcast button. Now I can hardly wait. Not that I don't get nervous, because I do. Because I always get nervous. I want to make sure I'm providing value for you and that your time is going to be well spent being here with me. And I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful for you that join me every single day. I'm like over the moon happy. So living life fully with intention means creating opportunities for what your heart is calling you to do. And be willing to stretch, be willing to give up TV, be willing to make changes in your life that will open up the possibility of a greater life. Don't be afraid. Your fear is motivating. Your fear is calling you to do it. Your fear is saying, you want this so much that you're afraid not to do it. Right? So that's my message today. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? Because you guys, you fill me with your stuff. I learn so much every time. I'm so grateful. And those purple hearts are pretty too. Oh, purple and sort of a periwinkle blue and amber, and I love it. So I'm going to try and be back tomorrow. I've got 26 people coming for Thanksgiving, and they start coming tomorrow. It's my whole family. And I'm very excited because this is our annual reunion. We do this every year and have since 1980. And it will be such a blessing to have all of my children, my nieces, my nephews, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, my dad, everybody here, and most of all my husband who is driving here tonight. I don't know if I've shared with you. My husband and I actually live in 2 states because we met 5 years ago and we have 2 separate lives. I'm just as jazzed that I can go to Catch Me to see you again. Yay! Thank you! Yay! Yes! So my husband is on his way from Tucson, Arizona to California because we live in 2 states, because we got married and we both had 2 full lives. And we're trying so hard to figure out a way we can be together more. But for right now, it works, and I am so blessed to have him in my life. We just got married 4 years ago, and, you know, I thought after my incredible 25-year marriage to my husband, who sadly I don't even know how to describe it, but we tumbled after my son died, and we fell apart. But the most horrible thing that happened was that we got divorced and then he died, but not before we had a chance to renew our special love for each other and our acknowledgement that we created such an amazing life together and such amazing children, and that it was the hardest thing we ever went through was the loss of our son. And sometimes it tears people apart and sometimes it brings them together. And it tore us apart for a while, but it was bringing us back together. And then he passed, and he was only 54 years old. But you know what? His legacy lives on in me and in his children. And I write about our relationship a lot. I speak a lot about our relationship. And I tell the truth. I tell the absolute truth in my book. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. But we had a creative marriage that I will forever be indebted to him because he lit my fire creatively. And that's why I do what I do today, and that's why I am able to write. He taught me so much. He was such a beautiful writer. And so I'm here with you today. And I lost my aunt last December, and she was like a second mom to me. I miss her every day. Oh, Chris, I'm so sorry. Loss is so hard, and you know what? It's the one common factor that we all have in our lives. We'll all experience it on some level or another, and it's never easy. And there's not one thing that prepares you for it. You know, I could have read my book that I wrote, and let me just show it in case you hadn't seen it, How to Survive the Worst That Can Happen, and lost my mom in 2002. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Kimberly. I could have read that book if someone else had written it and still not have been prepared for the depth of what loss is in someone's life. But I want to leave you with this thought at Thanksgiving. Leave nothing unsaid to those you love. The perfect opportunity is Thanksgiving. And for all those that you have lost, they give you a platform to love harder, be more connected to people, and share more truthfully about what you're feeling and who you are. And so in many ways, loss can give you the blessings that you didn't know you had in the opportunities of speaking your truth. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for all the hearts. I am so grateful. I'm going to try and scope tomorrow. I loved that book. Kimberly, I read A Grief Observed, and I have like several copies in my house by C.S. Lewis. Yes, Cynthia, it does make you bolder. Loss makes you bolder. C.S. Lewis, A Grief Observed, was life-changing for me. I kept it by my bed and read it over and over and over again. I've probably read it 20 times. Shadowlands, the movie, was from that book, although, of course, I go back to the written word as the book being iconic. I mean, it was the best for me. And so thank you for sharing that with others, because if anybody you know is going through loss, A Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis is an amazing book. So good night. I am so glad you joined me, and I will be back tomorrow, hopefully, if I don't have a house full of people. I like the book best too. Yes, I do. And happy Thanksgiving. If I don't, I know with 26 people, I probably won't have a chance on Thursday to scope, but I'm going to try even for 5 minutes. And thank you. I am so blessed to have all of you on with me today. I feel so connected to you, and I'm so grateful. So have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Bless you. Bye-bye.